the blade is like up and back down again. Oh, there goes the breaker. I haven't had anything like this happen in years. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're sawing a bunch of ash. So I have 3 logs sitting here from 2 different trees. This first main log here and this crotch piece. This piece used to go right here on the tree. I picked this tree up, or these 2 logs up with my son last fall, and it was a pretty easy softball pickup. And this one is pretty big, and there's nothing really going on with it. There's a few like kind of lump things here and there where there were some old limbs at some point, but for the most part there really isn't a whole lot going on here. So that's going to be pretty much just straight grain, or in theory should be pretty well straight grain material. This guy here I got out of the chipper pile from my buddies over at NR Tree Service. This is just one of the mini logs they had over there to be chipped, or I guess they would have been a tub grinder, so they would have been ground up. But anyway, kind of the same story with this one. There's not really anything significant going on here that I can see that I'm going to be trying to saw for to achieve any kind of fun grain pattern. So with this one, because it has such a large facing cut, wedge cut here, I'm going to roll this one about 90 degrees to get this thing up in the air, so that as we come through with the saw, the slabs just get longer, and we don't end up with slabs that have this like clipped corner thing going on. We have slabs that are pretty well full length and don't have anything weird going on the end. So I believe both of these should fit onto the saw. So what I'm going to do is get a facing cut onto each of them, and then we can load them both onto the saw and just slice them both at the same time, at the same thickness. Those ones will be pretty boring. But then we'll get into this thing, which has all the crotches and all the fun grain in it. This one's sitting a little more stable than the last one, so I'm going to pull a bonus piece of 4/4 off the top. How long is this anyway? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Basically 12 feet long. All right, I'm gonna be starting getting some 4/4 in the next video I shoot. So this will go into the pile to get stacked with that. It's kind of the hard part about making these like extra bonus boards at the time. You kind of have to have a stack already going, because otherwise, like, what are you gonna do with this? Where are you gonna put this? I mean, I guess I could put it with the stack of slabs, but I'm gonna edge this and I'll go into the stack of 4/4. Let's see about getting these nested up here on the saw. The butt's gonna fit? No. I gotta nest the butts around each other. Or spin this around. I got a little bit of room to move the left log over a bit. And then if I bring this guy forward a bit to get this root flare thing past this log, they should nest together just fine. I'm going to come down in 3-inch increments. So I think my starting position is going to be 24. And then we'll go over 3 inches. So the resulting slabs will be like closer to 2 3/4. You know, it's heavy-ish. Minus the curve of the blade. It's actually, I guess, 2.9 inches thick. And then I don't have to do any math to figure out where I am. Or to figure out all the stopping positions to get an evenly sized traditional piece of wood. So this would be like, I would categorize this as 11/4. This should be, you should be sawing an eighth, or at least an eighth over the intended thickness. And on this thicker stuff, you should probably be more like a 1/4 inch over the desired thickness to account for the shrinkage that will happen during drying. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Well, do I want to get another bonus piece off of the other log? Where are we at here? We're on the scale. Yeah, I thought they were closer in diameter, but it's more like the butts are closer. This one here tapers a lot. It's not very big at the other end. I think we'll come up one more and get some more out of that other log. Yeah, and I guess a little bit of a weird bonus tapered board out of the smaller log too. Let's do that. It's all about yield. Just for fun, this board, when edged, will be about 10 or 11 inches because the neck's down here in the middle. Otherwise, down here it's 24 inches. Oof. All right, I guess now we saw slabs. Next stop, 21 inches. That should be 3 times 7, if I remember correctly. Okay, I think that's going to be it. We'll run out of, we're going to run out of throat depth after this cut. Yeah, I can't quite sneak another cut underneath the saw head. It's like 2 3/4, not quite 3. So I think what we'll do is we'll pull the top 2 off of here, off of both logs, take a look at those, and then we have 2 more cuts to make to release those last 3 slabs on the bottom there. So like I said, it's like a little kind of burl thing forming right here. So this lump here is the start of a burl. So that's cool. I see some blue stain. So maybe we'll find some nails or something in the next slab. Anyway, back to what I was doing. All right, these first 2 are from the shorter of the 2 logs. Oh, probably not gonna be much going on with this one. Sapwood. Yeah, this one's cool. There's a lot of fun stuff going on here. Anyway, here's the first one. You got a lot of sapwood. You got some color bleed because it's been sitting out for a little while. So you got some of the sap color bleeding into the heart color bleeding into the sapwood. You can see it a lot down here on the end grain, so that's kind of fun, but not a super big piece of wood. This one, you got this nice blue stain. You got whatever this was. You got this burl formation over here, and it's just pretty well nice and clear the rest of the way. So I think that's actually pretty promising. I wasn't expecting to see like much of anything interesting or unique in this whole log. So, hooray. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, let's see what this guy's got going on here. Missed. The bigger one. That one's got a little tiny piece of metal. A little tiny piece of steel. So similar to the shorter one, we got mostly sapwood here with a little bit of heartwood poking through here and there. That's kind of cool, whatever that is. We got a little limb situation here with a bunch of curl and stuff. Back to sapwood, and then we got this fun cathedral of heartwood. This guy, super cool, nice and clear. Here is whatever that is. It's like a little, like the ittiest bittiest little tiny nail or something in there. I don't know what that is. Like a bark pocket or something? I don't really know. And then we got some more figure from that old limb that was up here. So all kinds of wacky grain and stuff happening there. This is cool. It's like a mineral staining up through here. That's kind of cool. Okay. There's our first 4 slabs cleared out of the way. So now we can get back to sawing and make the last 2 cuts. all sawn, and that's it. At least that's it for sawing on these two logs. Let's dig through and see what we got. Kind of looks like there was some kind of old limb damage thing that happened to this tree at some point. I don't have much space to like do tricks anymore. Ugh. There we go. Yeah, it's like an old limb growth thing that happened up there. So this is the upper section of the tree, and then towards the base, about, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet up, we had this old kind of like broken off limb thing that must have been coming out of here, and then the tree grew around it and compartmentalized it, and you can see all the kind of fun figuring stuff that happens around that area when the tree wow, I'm having a hard time speaking today. Compartmentalizes a wound or a defect like that. On this slab, it's kind of mostly gone. We just have a few little remnants of that still kind of chilling here, and then what's left of it up here. So it makes for kind of a fun and unique look in the middle of the slab, because otherwise it'd be completely, totally clear, which isn't bad either. But a little bit of something interesting kind of helps to make it a little more dynamic. There's a lot of like mineral staining or something all through this tree. All right. I think just for the sake of staying organized, we're going to run through all the slabs for this log first, and then we'll do the longer one. All right, I would say these are clearing up quite a bit. Yeah, just a little bit of that limb left, but otherwise, you know, not really a whole lot of other things going on. So pretty well clear down here. You get up to the middle, you get whatever the heck that was. I don't know what that was, but it's presenting kind of like a quilt lump right now. And then we got some kind of fun bark inclusion thing. And then it's just clear for the rest of the way up. And I think this one's going to be the widest one. Pretty sure. So up here, one interesting bit of note is you got a little bit of this crotch figure happening here, and we got a pith. This is like just where the crotch would have started. So the tree branched out this way and then down that way, and they're kind of going like that way out towards the limbs that would have been there. Since this was cut, like the crotch would have been up here, this is cut back, you know, a couple feet from the end of the crotch. So we got the origin point of those crotches happening right there. And then back down here we got whatever old limb this thing was back in the day, pretty well cleared up, but we got some kind of fun color and figure around there. And then it's just kind of clear. Okay, for some measurements at the kind of widest down here from the root flares, 38. And it kind of looks like it necks in the most right here. 29, 27. And at the very narrowest up here where it tapers all the way down, we're down to 24. And then these are what, 9s? No, almost 11. All right, 128 inches. It's kind of longer than I thought it was. What did I say this was? 128? So in like less than a minute. Yes. 128. 28. All right, this is slab number 7 already. That is some pretty stuff. I mean, it's just kind of clear. You get into some kind of fun stuff about midway up here. And then there's another knot. And there's the bullseye for the crotch. That was, guess, going that way. No, it's going this way. Where are we on the log? It's going that way. According to this slab, it was... All right, that is that one. Whew. These are pretty. Let's see what this last one's got going on. This is going to be pretty well, mostly all clear. Oh, this is cool. A little figure burst thing. That's fun. We got old limb knot kind of thing up here, but otherwise a nice, fairly clear, fairly straight grain. I know some of you like that. And just of note, these last two have that felling notch in them, so their actual final length gets a little bit shorter. That's 123, and this one's got the majority of that felling wedge cut, which drops it down to 118. All right, now we're done with these. On to the longer stuff. Starting to get like a wall of slabs going here. Like a fence. Slab fence. This is also really clear. We got a few little old limb knot things here and there with some kind of, fun figure around it. There's a little bit of that blue stain from the tiny little itty bitty nail or whatever that we saw on the last slab. There's some nice figure around that guy there. This area here with this old limb on here, all kinds of fun figure up top, and you got some kind of fun swirly grain stuff happening around there. Always some fun stuff happening around things like that, and it just gets clear again with a little bit of curl. I mean, a lot of it, but there's a pretty good amount of curl all through here. Okay, I might regret this. We're going into the wind. Yeah, it took it. It didn't quite compensate well enough for the breeze. Yeah, this is getting even more kind of uniform and clear. There's some kind of fun old knot thing going on there. Some other little tiny old knots, bullseye things, and a little bit of figure here from, oh look, there's some more. That's cool. It's like a little check mark kind of thing. A little figure pocket here. And then some more curl down here. These are 140 inches long. 32 down there. This is 29. Also 29. That's 30. Pretty uniform in width. All right, 5 that we're on, slab number 5. Let's see what 6 has got going on. Well, if I could throw the water far enough. Okay, so this is back to 5 real quick. We start getting some kind of fun figurey things around all the old limbs and whatnot. We get up here to this larger limb that used to be here. You get some actual bigger figure starting to show. And we got a lot of fun curl happening right here. Interesting bit of, whatever you want to call it. An interesting tidbit is we're starting to get into the crotch figure here. This is the figure that would be from the crotch section that was up there, which was cut off, and that's that other section over there. So some of the figure that should be in there is in here because it wasn't cut far enough back down here. Anyway, okay. So we're going to lose some of the crotch figure from the crotch slabs. It's captured in this slab now. I believe we're pretty close to the pith now too. So this is all the original limbs of the tree as it was growing. Had this kind of fun jog happen in it. And then you get some older, bigger limbs down here with some figure. It's got kind of a cool look. Pretty consistent width on these ones too. They're kind of floating around 30 inches wide, plus or minus a couple inches. So it's surprisingly, well, we kind of saw how straight this log was, but it's got a very consistent width. All right, what we got left? 2 more? Yeah. All right, last 2. Here we go. Oh, this is going to be left-handed. Let's see if I can do this. Actually, it was pretty good. I guess I'm ambidextrous when it comes to splashing slabs. This side of the tree must have had like a lot of limbs or something because, well, obviously it did, but look how many more limbs there were coming out of this side of the tree. It definitely makes for a more, interesting, unique bits of figure, here and there, but I'm just surprised that there's that many more on this side of the tree than we saw on the other side. Look at this. That is wild. Look at all the figure around that thing. Just like sitting there in a sea of figure. We got this kind of thing still going on down here, and another, I don't know, that's like a little bark inclusion thing there, and little bits of curl and whatnot. Let's go up here. Let's go upstairs. It's a nice one. All right, last one. I kind of missed. Splash! This is number 8. Again, we got a lot of fun figure around all these old limbs up here. It's like bullseye center of all the action, figure action everywhere. It's wild. Yeah. Start getting some more sapwood now. Another pretty cool one. That's it for, what do we want to call these? The normal logs. So, we get this tossed on the pile, and we'll get that crotch section that was cut off from here. We'll get that tossed on the saw, and we'll see what's going on inside of there next. Probably some crotch. It's wood. Yeah, nothing much yet. It felt fairly stable. So maybe we'll do a couple of cuts. All right, this one is wiggling around a little more than I'd like, so let's pull these two off of here. We'll take a look at them, and then I'll roll the whole thing over. So it stops doing whatever it's doing. It stops being sketchy, I guess. Ooh. There's some crotch in there. Oh yeah. That's promising. This little one looks like it's got, oh yeah, it's got some kind of fun curl stuff going on here. Look at that. Look at a little bit of figure there. A little bit. You got all kinds of nice compression figure below this little limb knot thing here. You got the top side curl figure as well, and then the start of some figure from his crotch right here too. Now there is a little bit of curl kind of poking its way through here too. This one, I can already tell it's got a little bit of the crotch figure already. Oh, that's great. That's really cool. Down here, I guess there was another little limb at some point that gives you a little bit of topside figure. We're starting to get into where the crotch will be, but it's not actually crotch figure yet. It's more like this normal curled looking stuff right now, which is pretty awesome. And we got some more coming through up there. A lot of sap kind of where we're at right now, which is kind of fun. And we're starting to get into the crotch of this limb up here. So you got some figure around the bark inclusion, and then you got the actual feather down there. This is gorgeous. don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh wow, what the hell? The blade is like up and back down again. Oh, Lewis, sir. There goes the breaker. All right. I haven't had anything like this happen in years. Like years and years. All right, well, let's at least get those first 3 out of there and go from there, I guess. And hopefully I can maybe walk the blade back. Not while it's off, I don't think so. All right, let's demessify this. It's just weird. Second to last cut, too. I mean, the blade still has teeth, so I don't think we hit anything. I don't know what happened, I guess. It's not usually a problem if I just bump the guide for a second. That's just weird. Okay, well, it's a mystery. So heavy. Oh, wow. At least it's got some beautiful crotch feather. Oh, I almost broke that one. It's going. All right, that's as far as it's gonna go on its own. Where are my wedges? The only wedge I could find has got the tip broken off, of course. Okay. That's weird. I don't know what the heck happened there. Okay, I'm reasonably sure I know what's going on. I didn't have my lock knob on my ram tightened up all the way because this thing lost tension again in the time I've been messing with this. So I'm gonna guess that as we're making that cut, we lost like all the blade tension and the blade decided to go, whoop, we're going for a walk now. Now, the hard part about this now, or it's not, the caveat is that to complete this cut, I can't just go back in the same kerf again because it's just going to try and walk and find. It's going to have a hard time finding a straight cut again. So I'm just going to spin this around and then we'll start cutting in from the other end. And that should go a little better. There's only a cut and a half left. And then I guess once we get in there, we'll see for sure. But because the blade is completely fine, there's no damage to the teeth, we didn't hit anything that caused the blade to walk. So I'm like almost 100% sure that it was just the tension got released. Oh, that's weird. It's happening again. So I'm not really sure what happened here. I'm not sure if like the blade's dull somehow. Maybe it got dull sitting in that kerf, being dragged through there. I don't know, because like all the teeth are still there. So if it is dull, this is the only carbide blade that I have dulled this whole time. Because all the other carbide blades I have, you know, the teeth kind of, they wear off and you're left with a blade with no teeth after a while. And this one doesn't really feel that dull, but maybe the blade got messed up. Going through there. It's got all the carbides there. And I was looking at the guide too. It's not like the guide kicked the blade up or something. I don't know. Put a new blade on and see if we can at least get through this log. So weird. I mean, I guess I'm due for some kind of weird thing because it's been years. Okay. Okay. That's weird, man. It still feels like a sharp carbide, but it's, I don't know. I mean, hopefully it's just a blade. This is a bimetal blade just because I have, what am I doing here? So I have so many of these still, and they're closer. They're in the horse barn, not the big barn. It's a shorter walk for me to go get them. And I kind of want to get rid of them, so might as well put this one on and get some use out of it. And this style of blade, where the tooth is actually ground into the steel, much sharper than the carbide. Carbide's just like a big scraper. If you do any turning, you kind of know the difference between a scraper and a gouge or a skew or something. Kind of the same concept. This one will bite you. Okay. Bless you. Oh, it's 2 pieces now. Or is it? Wow. That walked quite a bit. That went for a hike. Just want to see if he hit something or what. It was just the tension. Oh no, there's a giant anchor right there. Holy crap, I don't know what that was. Oh, it's a rock. I think. Holy crap. It's like an inch by a half inch or something. Yeah, that's like a rock. I don't think we've seen that before, or at least I haven't. Someone must have tossed a rock up into this crotch. This was, see, the base log was 12 feet, so this is 14 feet or so off the ground. Just happened to have a rock land in this crotch pocket thing here. That's that's pretty cool. So I guess now it makes sense. So as the blade was coming across this way, it hit this rock, and that caused it to want to cut upwards and force it up. So that's what happened there. And now that I came through this way with the blade and I clipped it here, the bottom teeth are all dull. So this is a downward facing tooth. It's very dull right there. If I go right on the bottom, completely dull. Top facing one, sharp. So this blade is now dull. So that's cool. I guess I will grab another of those bimetal blades and we'll make our last cut, and yeah, hopefully, well, we'll see. Maybe there's another rock in there. You guys have your metal detectors, but they don't have rock detectors. It's like the embedded metals like doesn't matter at all most of the time. Embedded rocks all the time, and you have no idea they're there. Congratulations, blade. You win the award for least amount of use. Not even a full cut. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's go grab another one. I think I have 2 more of these still. What do you think the chances are that there's another rock 3 inches deeper? We did it. We got that giant crotch thing all sawn up. I got a little bit of a mess here as far as what slab goes where and what order we're in and all that. So I'm gonna start, yeah, sorting through these things, and we'll take a look at what kind of fun green we have. Okay, these first 2 are the first 2. The first ones that we cut from this side after we had rolled it over. So we got a pruning cut, which resulted in a lot of fun things going on around it. Otherwise, kind of a fun mismatch of sapwood and heartwood. kind of the same fun thing happening over here with the sapwood and the heartwood kind of bleeding together. You got this crazy situation there. There's the, I guess the bullseye effect from that, that pruning cut right there. So there's a crazy amount of figure all the way around that thing, and we got a little bit of a bark inclusion here for the star of the crotch. Okay, this is number 3. Ooh. There is some stuff going on here. Check this out. Look at this. Look at this mess of stuff. Just stuff. Holy, wow. This is, yeah, this is great. I got nothing to say. Look at all this crazy stuff happening here. Man, that is gorgeous. Okay. All right, let's see what this guy's got going on. Missed. This one's a little more subdued than the last one. There's still a lot of fun figurey things going on, but the last one had so much more like dramatic stuff happening. This one's just got a little bit of crotch figure with a bark inclusion. On this side, you got the bark inclusion of the main crotch coming into some crotch feather, and these ones are actually disconnected. And then we have actually another nice big feather right here. All right, the next one has the rock in it. We'll see what the ridiculous carnage is here. I think this is the most expensive slab I've produced in a long time. Oh man, it's got a nice hump. That is really some nice figure though. It's got this extra band here and some extra curl, and you get the bark inclusion with a bit of crotch feather around it over here, and you got the crotch here and a rock. The rock in the crap pocket. There's the nice little hump. Let's see if I can show you that better. These blades, they're like my kids. They won't go for a walk unless you force them to. Oh man, this is cool. There's some kind of fun little figure-y thing going on there. We got our bark inclusion, crotch feather kind of hybrid situation. This is great. That's just amazing here. And then we got this nice bark inclusion with kind of fun stuff happening up in that area. So it's kind of a fun one. I don't know. I think you leave that rock right there, you epoxy it in place, you get your little diamond thing out and flatten it out, make it a feature. It's in there pretty good still. All right, we got number 6 here to look at. I think this one's going to have the most amount of crotch stuff because it's got the most stuff from both crotches. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Oh, there's a lot of nice curl over here too. There's all kinds of fun curly bits over here. And look at the crotch feather. Goes right into that bark inclusion perfectly. A lot of sweet stuff happening there. And then the other crotch feather was a bark inclusion here too. You got a little bit of extra bonus right there. That's just gorgeous. Okay, now the first 2 that we cut before I flipped over are now actually the last 2. 7. I had to show you this. Look at this. Look at all that. Isn't that nuts? That's a lot of crotch. Oh yeah. That's the good stuff right there. All right, there's our stack of crotch slabs. It's been a while since we've smoked a bunch of blades trying to cut through a log. So I guess I was due for some of that. So we got 2 blades going back into the pile. Both shortest lived blades ever. The carbide blade I put on 2 months ago, normally I get like a year's worth of cutting out of those. And then that bimetal blade made half a cut. So, you know, maybe those will actually get sharpened. Who knows? Anyway, there's some freaking beautiful stuff right there. And of course, we got plenty of nice, clear ash slabs here. And well, it worked out really nicely. These were easy to saw and they're pretty big and I like them when they're beautiful. And unfortunately, there's not gonna be a whole lot of these left around here. The ash borer has really started to kill all these here. So probably only gonna be a few more years of actually having access to logs this size. But I'm hoping to get as much as I can. So it's sort of a once in a lifetime type of thing to stockpile because after it's gone, it's probably gonna be gone for a very, very long time. As far as lumber this size goes at least. So that is going to do it for this one. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the sawmill or anything back in the shop or whatever, please feel free to leave a comment. As always, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.